Hello and welcome. I'm so glad you're here today for the episode. My name is Jillian Vorce, and I am the host of the show. Here at One Handshake, we're about connecting people and creating opportunities. And our guest today personifies this. And I'm pretty sure it won't take long for you to see why. I am proud to introduce today's guest. Deborah Eckerling is a goal strategist, published author, and workshop leader on a mission to change goal culture in and out of the workplace. The creator of the DEB Method for Goal Setting Simplified, Deb works with individuals and teams on personal and professional projects, networking strategy, and book or book proposal development. She hosts Goal Chat Live and the Taste Buds with Deb podcasts and is the author of Your Goal Guide. Her brand spanking new book, 52 Secrets for Goal Setting and Goal Getting, is coming out in just a few days. Woo! Congratulations, Deb, and thanks for being here. Welcome.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's always so much fun when we get to hang out and chat and
Sure.
networking things. I mean, that is really how the book came together, as is most projects, because
Yeah.
if you don't have your people, you know, you need your people. You can't reach your goals on your own.
You can't reach your goals on your own. Mark that down. I don't know. That might be too long for a hashtag. And maybe we're still doing hashtags now? I don't know. Are we?
I'm doing 52 Secrets and 52 Secrets books, so we will see. No,
Hey.
I'm revitalizing if they're unvitalized. I'm sure that's not a word, but because we want the purpose of the book and really the purpose of goals is to get everybody excited about reaching those goals, setting those goals, living the life they desire. So,
So can I work backwards for a moment? Because I'm like super curious. I think so. First of all, the title is great, but I personally love the subtitle even better. Um, How to Stay Focused, Grow Your Network, and Get More Done in Less Time. So I feel like who doesn't want to chew on that? I mean, yeah.
we do love our long keyword-rich subtitles, do we not?
Right? No, but in all seriousness, so how long? So getting more done in less time. So I feel like the most obvious kind of low hanging fruit question is, how long did it take you to write that book, Deb?
Okay, I have to preface this by saying my timeline is so the exception,
Hmm.
not the rule. Because I started having conversations with my publisher, with Brenda Knight at Mango about a year ago, because I am on the board of Women's National Book Association, the San Francisco chapter. Yes, I live in LA. Brenda's also the president of the San Francisco chapter, and she brought me on as networking ambassador about a year and a half ago. And I said, hey, Brenda, let's do another book together, because Mango put out Your Goal Guide in January 2020. And it just kind of started the ball rolling on the conversation. We had a couple meetings beginning of this year that resulted in the book proposal for what became 52 Secrets for Goal Setting and Goal Getting. It was originally 101 rules for success in business. And they're like, no, Deb's the gold girl. We need a goal-like title.
Stay in your box. Stay in your box.
I love my box. I love my lane.
Yeah.
And so the book proposal was submitted the end of March. I got the green light in June, and I said, when do you need it? It is a January book. And she said August 1st, and I said done. Now, it ended up being the third week in August, because there were a couple interviews coming in that we wanted to be sure to include, but less than 3 months is really not typical, and for a book coming out the following January. I mean, insanely quick, but this is in addition to goals, I also teach courses on book proposals, and when you have a book proposal and you've got your ideas solid, then you've got that roadmap. And actually, Your Goal Guide I wrote in 3 months, so what am I talking about? I like to write books quickly, right?
Yeah. So in other words, this book is not the exception. you might be the exception.
It is entirely possible. Uh,
Maybe.
yeah, but the super fun thing about the book and the book proposal went to Mango at the end of March, and I said, "You know it's gonna be tight. Should I keep working on it? And keep getting the interviews?" And Brenda's like, "Yes, of course, of course." So, um, although there was plenty to be done once I got the green light, I did get a nice running start because I know so many awesome people. And so for the book, it's 52 secrets, but I interviewed 60 leaders, entrepreneurs, consultants, awesome people in the areas of business and tech and food and entertainment and creative. So it's really that cross section, but everybody's got one thing or at least one thing that
Mm.
they live by that they love that does that help them either set their goals or achieve them. And so each so it's divided in 7 chapters, but each chapter's got the rule, the secret from
Mhm.
each person along with an example.
Mhm.
So it's not just, "Oh, do this." It's,
Mhm.
"I did this, and this is what I learned," or,
Mhm.
"This is what I noticed." So it's
Mhm.
so amazing, and it's like I do with my show Goal Chat. I bring together 3 people, and unless it's on purpose, they don't know each other, for
Mhm.
conversation every Monday, and bringing together people and perspectives. It's just it's fun.
Mhm.
It's like I've done a lot of depth things, but this is definitely the most depth thing I've done,
Right.
which is right?
For sure. This is I'm like, of everybody I know, you are like rise to the top of like people that, well, first of all, we always click and we share kind of our, viewpoint and approach in the way we value relationships and all of that. So, yeah, you're somebody that I feel like, yeah, it's so cliche to say gets it in air quotes. But yeah, you really the way you build a relationship, the way that you bring people together, all of those things resonates with me, and which is why we connected more than 10 years ago now, doing this kind of thing. So it's amazing to hear how you have been able to continue to, yeah, build relationships and creating opportunities. Because for sure, I'm going to assume that most of the people that you interviewed for your book you didn't, first meet them and think, "Oh, yes, that's why I'm meeting them is to interview them for my book." You probably met them through other reasons. Maybe they're referrals that were specifically interviews for this book, but by and large, the relationships you have kind of evolved over time, and this opportunity emerged with and through that, as a result of those, yeah, all these opportunities and people.
Yes. Well, and what I love is the fact that so Gold Chat was an offshoot of the first book of your Gold Guide, which came out
Mhm.
in January 2020. 6 weeks later, we all had changed by circumstance, and my at the time, I'd been leading a Twitter chat on Sunday nights, and
Mm.
my publisher said, "Hey, Deb, do you wanna do a live show with Gold Chat?" And it had been rolling around in my head for a while, and I'm like, "You know what?
Mhm.
Sure." So it was an easy yes because I'd been
Mm.
thinking about doing it anyway,
Mm. Mm.
and this show evolved from the first 2 episodes was just me talking, and they did not last long. And then I started doing interviews, and at the end of that first year, um, this was December 2020, I wanted to do something fun,
Mm.
but, how do you throw a party when you can't leave the house? Well,
Mhm.
usually at parties, you put together people who don't know each other.
Mm.
So that's what I did for the first panel, and then in 2021, I was doing, like, once a month, the panel shows and still one-on-one.
Mm.
By spring, I'm like, "No, this is my format." Uh,
Mhm.
so they've been panel-y ever since, and that's just part of, the way that I get to know and to meet people. So the show evolved from the first book, and in a lot of ways, the second book evolved from the show because I also do freelance writing and I do
Mhm.
goal coaching and book proposal consulting and all the things.
Mhm.
And it's great because I get to meet with and talk to amazing different people. And so everybody in the book is either a friend or someone I interviewed who became a friend or,
Right.
those
Of
kind of
course.
connections
Yeah.
for someone that someone in the book said, you really need to include this person. And
Mm.
so for the book proposal, most of them, because I was doing proof of concept,
Mhm.
I did those via email. But I'd still say more than 3/4 of the book were me interviewing people via Zoom with
Mhm.
the question, what is your secret for setting goals, or what is your secret for getting goals? And then putting them in different, I guess, vignettes is probably
Mhm.
not the right word, but it feels like it within the book, within each chapter. And I got to the point where after I would interview people, I'd be like, okay, is there someone else who
It's a
needs
great
to
tip.
be
This is a
in the
great tip.
book?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
a couple people said, you need to interview so and so because I want to hear how to
Yeah.
do it all.
Yeah.
So it was fun and amazing, and I just love that the organic
Mhm.
evolution of it from
Mhm.
a conversation about and we'll go a little bit in the Wayback Machine. It's Brendan and I would talk about, don't you wish people would, do these things more and they would be more successful? It's like I do I call it Zoom Free Friday, but it's not necessarily Friday. It's just one
Mhm.
day a week I do no Zooms so I
Mhm.
can get my writing and my other work done. And just like, oh yeah, I have this one. And when I do goal coaching, whether it's a workshop or one-on-one, I will tell people, to set yourself up for success, you need your rules. What are the things that you are going to do so you actually get the stuff you want to get done?
Mhm.
And so I guess I've always kind of been a rules girl, but this really like brought it out of me. It's like
Mm.
everybody's got the thing, that one thing. And there's even, so if you go to 52secretsbook.com, the website created for it. And in the book, it says, what is your secret? What is the thing that you do that everybody needs to know because it's going to be life changing for them? So
Mhm.
I'm
Mhm.
really uh, looking to get that. And it's not even just about the social sharing of it. I want to know because in
Mm.
my mind this is the first book, but there's so many different versions of this book for
Mhm.
industry or specific areas that we can do. So, send in what your tip is and it could end up in the next book because
Mm.
again, let's share this book. Let's share what
Mhm.
we know and let's make everybody's lives better because isn't that what we're here for?
I think it is what we're here for. And you just said so many amazing things. I was like trying to remember them and I interrupted you. I apologize for that. But like, one thing you said, well, two things you said, and probably more, but two things you said specifically that I want to just tease out for a moment that I think are applicable to probably all of us listening. It's a great reminder whenever we're working on a project or whatever substitute project for whatever the thing is that you're working on. Um, to yeah, I wanna say not be afraid, or to just ask for a referral or ask the person. So based on our conversation or based on XYZ, who do you know or who would you recommend that I speak to next? It's a great kind of line to add to the repertoire, especially when you're able to work through the lens of relationships, that you're being, in relationship. I've had an opportunity for this person to, yeah, have a chance to get to see how you operate, how you are, what you're like, then they're going to be more comfortable probably to be able to refer you. So I think asking for the referral is a really great one. And then the second point that you made, which I feel like it's a great segue into, of course, to pick up your book, but is about kind of the rules piece and about scheduling and like the non Friday, Friday free Zoom. Maybe it's not Friday day. It's a really smart way to approach things as well. So I really just like that in general. I do a similar thing with my schedule. I'm yeah, quite scheduled. So it was interesting to hear you say that. I appreciate that tip. And I know there's 51 more tips to come in the book. Actually, 59 more tips to come in the book, I believe.
Actually 60 because I just kind of threw mine in the intro. So, yes. So,
Perfect.
for the book, I interviewed 60 people, like I said, authors, executives, leaders, entrepreneurs, people in creative fields. I've got actors and producers. It's just, it's, oh, and then chefs, because I also do food shows, so I know plenty of
Mhm,
those as well. And every there were a couple tips that were similar that I'm like, "Okay, can we, like, adjust it a little bit so it's different then?"
mhm,
But for the most part, everybody said something a little bit different, which is amazing, and then they do their story as to, "This is this is why I know this," or, "This is
yep,
how it worked for me."
mm,
And
mm,
I think one of the really good examples of 2 tips that came in similar but different is one was always be prepared and be kind,
mm,
and another was be able to look at yourself in the mirror.
mm,
Similar,
mm,
not the same,
mm,
and both really, really important.
mm. See, now you've piqued my interest. I wanna see who said each of those. So, don't tell, don't tell. I'll have to wait till I get my hands on the book and be able to see who said that.
And
So
Uh, the other thing I wanted to add what you were saying before about the yes, if you need something, just ask,
Mhm,
was great. So when I would put out the ask, I said there are 2 requirements. They have to be someone I would be friends with,
mm,
and they also have to be of the same mindset of wanting to share what they know to help others.
mhm,
And it ended up being 60 because I got too many and I didn't have the heart to eliminate any. So each chapter has a bonus tip, and then Guy Kawasaki is the afterword,
mhm,
but it's also a tip. So I was able to, play with the numbers, sneak things in, and just so much fun. The other thing that I wanted to add, and this is just in any kind of, I wanna say networking conversation, but that really feels redundant. So, like, in any conversation when I'm doing
yep,
a meeting or getting to know people, I will say, "Is there something that you need that I could put on my radar for you?"
mm.
95% of the time, they ask the question back. I'm always surprised when they don't, honestly.
Yeah,
But being very specific, and this is it's something I say, but it's also another tip in the book. Being very specific about what you need or what you do is
mhm,
also super helpful. It don't make people work.
mhm,
What I needed was who else do you know who as this spirit who's got something to say that would be a great addition to the book. So when you need things, be very specific to them. So now that the book is out in the world, my ask is, okay, who do you know who hosts a podcast or writes articles who wants someone who loves goals and wants to share that power? So that is the recent ask because you said in the beginning of my bio, I am on a mission to change goal
mhm,
culture in and out of the workplace. People think goals is a 4-letter word. I mean, it is, but it's the good kind.
mhm,
And a lot of people hear the word goal and they like shiver or they set these resolutions because apparently that's a better word at the beginning of the year. And then within a month, they blow it and they're like, okay, well, I'll start again next year. And I'm like, no, every
mm,
day, every week, every month is an opportunity, especially when you're facing change, whether it's by choice or circumstance, or maybe, and this is what I love to get to a point that people aren't facing change. They're just like, I want something else. I
mhm,
want like a value add to my life. And that I think
mhm,
would be great if that was the default.
mhm.
It's not,
Agreed.
I'm doing this because of something. I'm doing this because of me, and I've just got this passion for fill in the blank, and I want to help more people. I want to spread the word and to make other people's you never know what one thing is going to resonate with someone, which
That's right.
is the other reason why I love the book. So it's divided into 7 chapters. So you can read the chapter that you need, whether it's productivity or it's leadership and teamwork or communications or networking or well-being or action or vision, focus. Sorry. I keep calling it vision, but actually the first chapter is focus. It's the same. That is the one where you're taking stock of what you want in life. But you can go through and go to the chapter you wanna read or the person whose advice you wanna hear from, and I got this great early review that said, "I know this book is meant to be picked up and put down, but I couldn't put it down," and she read the whole thing in one sitting. I mean, is that not the best compliment?
That's amazing. That's amazing to hear. Congrats. Yeah,
Thank you.
that feels good.
Yeah, absolutely. But the idea is the secret to success is there is no one secret. There are options. So I am giving options.
Lots of them, lots of them. So, can I come at this from a different angle for a moment? Because it's very clear that you're exceptional at building relationships and you have a very, engaging personality and all of the things, which is, one of the reasons we have continued to build relationship together all of these years, right? I think very highly of you. But I think so. Aside from the book side, etc., which clearly came as a result of the relationships along the way. But looking at it from the lens of relationships and networking, I one of the things that's kind of been like a thorn in my side or like my pet peeve or something over the years is people saying that networking is for extroverted people. Like, oh, I can't, build these relationships. I can't network because I'm not an extrovert. And I always think that for me, it's not about being an extrovert. I think introverts tend to be excellent listeners. And so I would say that's the secret weapon I like to share with regard to building relationships and networking is to be an excellent listener and question asker, which you also talked about, being able to ask the question. So I love that. But specifically with you, um, I don't want to label you as this. So I'm going to frame it as a question instead. Do you identify as a social butterfly?
Label away.
Do you?
Yes, of course
All
I
right,
do.
fair. So I was going to say that, but I didn't. I felt like this is not the right thing to do. Let her say, yes, I am, even though I know that you are. But let's just, I just.
Uh, the other point that you made, and I agree with everything, and also ditto about everything you said about me. I completely agree. There is a reason we have been friends across years and continents.
Yep.
Uh, but the other thing that I want to underscore is networking isn't about meeting people. It's about developing relationships. And I think the same way that I'm owning the definition of the word goals, you own the definition of the word networking. And I love that you use the social butterfly term because especially in person, do you remember when only and all events were in person? Like
Back in the day.
back to stay, right? And I would say you go to the events and you meet a lot of people, you hand out your card, maybe you've got conversations with a few of them that last more than a couple minutes, but it's about seeing who's out there that you really develop that kinship with, that you get that spark that you're like, "Okay, let's see where this friendship goes." And it really is a matter of and a lot of people look down on it, but if you're going to an event, you do wanna meet a lot of people. That is not the time for the deep conversations. That is the time to find your people. Then you can develop those relationships through
Hmm.
continue conversations and emails, etcetera.
So, do you still operate that way now in person? Or actually, how often do you go to in-person networking events now?
I'm getting back into it. I mean, there's nothing like a book to force you to go out in public, but I've also had a very successful 4.5 years of almost entirely virtual
Hmm. Hmm.
connections and reconnections, and a lot of people are, like, looking down on it. I don't know
Mm.
if you hear this. It's like, "Oh, are you still doing online?" And of course I am. I mean, my book wouldn't exist if it
Right.
weren't for the pandemic and the accessibility of people and restarting or starting, Gold Hat Live, and then I started
Mhm.
my food podcast, which is also another live show. It's so many opportunities to meet people who are
Mm.
not in your backyard. But even back in the days, it
Mhm.
was you would meet people in person, you connect with them on LinkedIn, and then, you follow their sites and you interact and you continue those
Mhm.
conversations, maybe meet back in the day, you would meet for real coffee, now you meet for virtual coffee, and then you see them again, and then it really solidifies that relationship.
Mhm. Mhm.
What how why how is the way we're living now. It's an even better opportunity because
Mhm.
we'll meet people and
Mhm.
and one thing when I do my events for Women's National Book Association, uh, occasionally they will have in-person events in San Francisco that I'm in LA. I am not going to go to. But for all of the virtual events,
Too
yeah, too
far.
far. I mean, I am in Angelino. I will drive a little. Um, but the point being is I always do virtual guest book, so
Mm.
people can put in their email and their book links and their LinkedIn because the networking, the relationship development, that's what happens after
Mm.
the conversation or the event in which we meet.
Mhm. Yeah, interesting. So all the stuff that you just said, yeah, completely. I just want to share for a second. Yeah, just quickly. As you know, I mean, that was my jam for a long time was in-person events, right? And I could meet, yeah, and retain a lot of information, like, yeah, hundreds of people at a time, right? And that was what I thrived in, and it gave me so much energy, and I could yeah, create real-time connections with, lots of people and all these things. And then something happened. So over the past years, so yes, COVID, yes, pregnancy for me, yes, a significant move across the pond, as they say, and all of these things. So I'm not sure if I've gotten like just older and like tired, or if I've become more targeted or more strategic, or maybe a combination thereof. But I noticed because starting moving to a new continent, right, and having to start going to events to meet people online. So I've done a lot of online, offline. But specifically, I'll just say quickly to just throw this out there. I now, when I go to any event, I am the opposite of what I used to be. I am much more selective, and I tend to have a fewer number of deeper conversations with people that yeah, some of this is also years of experience and being able to find my way into really, high quality conversations with people that resonate. And then those people can open lots of doors and we have a lot of synergies and such. So it's a very different strategy than it used to be. But nonetheless, it's still about what you said. It's meeting people. I love that you said networking conversation is redundant because when we're in conversation with somebody, how is that not networking? Right? If we're asking questions, we're getting to know them and sharing about us. It's a give and take. And so that's really what, to me, building relationships is all about. And that's been the story with you and I for 10 plus years. So, in any case, so before we start to wrap up, I just wanted to give you an opportunity if there's any closing thoughts, anything you didn't yet have the opportunity to say. Do you have a final word to share with our listeners today, Deb?
Oh, goodness. I have so many final words. I will say if you want to be good at networking, because this isn't networking conversation. Ha ha ha. I love that. I'm never ever gonna look at those two words together again the same. Set networking goals. It put time in your calendar because as we know, if it is not in the calendar, it does not exist.
Correct.
And put even if it's 15 minutes 5 day if you wanna do on the weekend I have this thing I call the 5 of 7 rule, which is basically giving you permission to not do things every day because you sometimes can't. So maybe put in your calendar for 5 days a week, 2 15-minute networking appointments where you do a "Hi, how are you?" email or you comment on someone's posts. I did for if you go to 52secretsbook.com in November, I decided that November was networking month, so I shared a networking tip a day, and I put them into blog posts to kind of batch them together. But simple things, most of which can be done in 5, 10, 15-minute increments. And if you do little things, and like I said, do not underestimate the power of sending a "Hi, how are you?" email, because this is you like a year ago, you said, "Hey, Deb, it's been age." No, I think it was 6 months ago. It was around the time I was finishing the book. I mean, you and I had a conversation on and off over the
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
that's 6 months ago. You're like, "Jess,
Yes.
I got this new thing. Can we chat?" And I think I said I'm on book deadline, but yeah, let's chat soon.
Yeah.
So you never know where a "Hi, how are you?" is going to land.
Mhm.
And even if
Mhm.
you do, like if you do nothing else, if you do one of those a day,
That's right.
5 days a week,
Yep.
and shocker, you could even, like, pick up the phone and call somebody. I know, that's just,
Whoa.
like,
Yeah.
we don't do that. It's a little bit less of a, um I for one, like that "Hi, how are yous?" and then be "We should catch up," and then schedule a phone call because I find
Mhm.
it less intrusive, and I am definitely a social butterfly, extrovert, whatever you wanna label me, that is me, and doing these just simple things is gonna get you so much further than doing well, obviously further than doing nothing, but
Mhm.
the thing to remember too is these are genuine conversations. You are not reaching out to these people for work. You know,
Mm.
you are not
Right.
reaching out to these people for a purpose. You say, "Hi, how are you? What's going on?" They will likely tell you and respond and ask you what you've been up to. It's still not a sales pitch. It is a conversation. The
Mhm.
people that you meet are not always your best directs,
Mhm.
but everybody knows people. So you
That's
never
right.
know who the person you are engaging with.
Who they play tennis with or who they ride the bus with or yeah, exactly.
You don't know. So when you are your authentic self and have a schedule slash a plan to just start and continue conversations, that's really all you need to do. Make it a goal. There
Make
you
it a
go.
goal. Make it a goal. Hashtag make it a goal. There we go. Yes. So folks can connect with you via LinkedIn or they can learn more at the debmethod.com. And last comment is for members of One Handshake, keep your eyes open about an upcoming goal setting and getting workshop that Deb will be doing for us. Uh, Surprise, Deb. If you're not, if you're not yet a part of our community, now's a great time to check us out. So thank you everybody for listening today, and most of all, Deb, thank you so much for your time. It always is so fun to talk with you and to chat, and yeah, a little bit down memory lane, but also present day. I'm really excited for your newest book, and I wish you all the success with that. And we at One Handshake are happy to play a part as much as we can in in promoting you and your book. So thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. And remember, go to 52secretsbook.com, get the networking tips. And if you've got a secret, something that is really meaningful to you, share it because it's not just going to help you by getting you out there, it's going to help so many other people.
That's a wrap. Cheers.